Bannerlord, huh? So let's have a look at this, guys. Let's have a look at this game. It's been officially released. It exited the early beta. It's now out there on consoles as well. So let's have a look and I'll give you my take on this game. So here we are. So what qualifies me to talk about this game? Well, I have almost 500 hours put into it. I've played Warband, I have played Mount&Blade before that, so and in my current game, in the Bannerlord itself, this is what I've achieved. So I've conquered the entire map, so I'll give you a quick overview or backstory of this conquest, just so you get an idea of how it could be done. It took me a couple of generations. So this gentleman here, my faction leader, he has been nominated, like him here, a faction leader, after his father was captured and executed. I'll link the video to that video there, so you can have a look at what happened to his father. It took me a couple of generations to achieve this, but I was really taking my time. If I wanted to, this could have been achieved within a single lifespan, within 20 in-game years, perhaps 30, I don't know. But I was taking my time. I was trying to get some experiences from the game that the game does not really cater for. Some of the issues, guys, some of the issues that plagued the Warband, they're still present. Some of them made worse, in fact. Now, graphically speaking, you know, the game is outstanding. Physics, the combat, it's much better than the Warband. There's no question about it, okay? If you're into combat, if that's your main thing, okay, you're not much into strategy, into campaign mode, you are just a combat guy, you would love it. And there's a multiplayer. I'm not talking multiplayer here, it's just a single player, my opinion. Now, in terms of campaign, however, as you can see, factions cannot be defeated. They will not, many of the lords will not abandon their faction, even when it's got no holdings whatsoever. I'm still at war with everyone. Everyone is still well and alive, as you can see. They have petty 300-man armies, and they're still fighting. And still, for me to sue for peace, look, I have to pay them 1,600. These guys, I have 35 of their prisoners captured, 35 of their lords. And I have to pay them to beg for ceasefire, okay? Here again, 50, okay? 17. And yeah, all of that, 19. And the game wants me to pay them almost 4.5K to see is ceasefire. Now, the calculations here is just absolutely like ludicrous. It just insults my intelligence. You know, look at my clan strength, 55,646. And look at these guys, 300, 370, 500, 260, 600, 490. And they want me to pay them this amount, okay? So I don't know who designed this. This needs to be done. Something needs to be done about it. And this is not just a fact now. This has been a fact throughout the game. And it absolutely ruins the experience. It just kind of devaluates everything you do on the battlefield. Talking about factions, diplomacy, absolutely ludicrous. Again, we've been spoiled by all the mods that came after the Warband. Diplomacy mod, then Viking conquest game. So many options there. You could do anything you want, really. And I'm talking here about vanilla Warband. Can't do anything, right? There is either war or there is peace. There's nothing in between. There's no alliances. There's no treaties. Nothing of the sort exists. And this is a game in its final installment. This is what I'm talking about. Very little management in terms of diplomacy, kingdom management as well. There are some policies, which is great. There are some clans, which is also good. However, interactions with the lords, commands to the lords, very limited indeed. So, and this is very disappointing to see. The lords are probably the biggest problem I have with this game. Is the lord interaction is so very poor in this game. So here we are. These are various lords, and for some reason they were kind of gathering in my capital, one of my capitals, even though I'm at war with all of this. Most of these people, like you see, they're in red, and yet they're here. So when you want to interact with any of them, the game doesn't give you much choice at all. The options you have for the interaction with these lords around the... Yes, it has been. With these lords is very limited. She's got no holdings, okay? Let's just be clear on that, okay? She's got no holdings. Her clan is tier 6. Strength is 39. They have nowhere to hold, there's nothing to do. They have a bunch of enemies here. Look at the list of their enemies. And yet, they're happy. they're happy. That's how smart the AI is for you. You approach the Lord who's got no settlement, no holdings whatsoever. You talk to him and he behaves as a hard to get princess where I own the entire map. Now that's not my biggest problem. The biggest problem is when you talk to them, you can't get anything out of them. The warband giving you an option. Okay, you could talk to the Lord. You could ask him, okay, hey, how is the war going? What is happening in general, right, with your faction? How is your faction faring when it comes to the war? You would be able to determine the state of the play, of the campaign, and what's going on around the map. You could see what has been happening with their faction. They will tell you what they think about politics. They will tell you about, you know, their lords from their faction. They will tell you where everyone is. You could talk to them. You can get a sense of what's happening with the game.
I await your orders.
Yes, here can't get anything. I have a proposal that may benefit us both, and that's as far as it gets. Very, very disappointing. And then you go here, and proposals, yeah, they don't exist either. You can give him some of your horses if you want, horses and stuff. You cannot talk about prisoners, really. You cannot talk about thieves. You cannot talk about much else, okay? Diplomacy here, non-existent, okay? Again, so very, very disappointing in this sense. Like I said, again, there is no disconnection. Like these guys, they like bots. They brainless, absolutely brainless bots. They don't know what's best for them. The writings on the wall, they cannot see that either. This is one of my guys, okay, that's fine. But when you approach an enemy or any neutral, it's also very, very limited. What I liked in the warband, you know, you can talk to them and they will tell you, okay, look, the state of the war is this and this. Our faction is faring, you know, well or not so well. If you ask, okay, I want to find that fella there from your faction, can you tell me where he is? He will tell you that. So you could have an idea, you felt that you were linked with the world, you know, you were connected with the game world. Here, like these guys, they're absolutely useless, absolutely brainless, and that's my biggest problem with this game. It's actually got worse from what limited option we had with Warband. Here you can do some of these things, but most of them things, impossible to do. Absolutely impossible to do. Brainless, they don't know what's best for them, they don't know what's going on, they cannot find anyone, and what do? Oh, there's lovely end button, encyclopedia. For me, that's a huge problem. It takes me totally out of the game's world. I have to go now, Wikipedia of the like, search for people, Google them, so to speak, within the game. Like, this is really, really, really disappointing. Why do I need to do it? Why can I not just ask this lord, find out the location of some other fellow from his faction, or find out what he thinks about kings and politics, like I used to do in Warband, okay? Or find out how are they faring in this ongoing wars with this or that faction, etc. None of this, however limited it was in Warband, guys, none of this is present here at all. And this is a huge, huge disappointment for me. It takes me out of the game's world, into this Wikipedia. I have to start Googling, so to speak, within the game, fair enough, but it still interrupts, it kind of disrupts my playthrough. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be going there, looking for people on the map. I should be interacting with the game. I should be interacting with the characters. I don't have to interact with anybody here. This is what's disappointing. You just go there, you press N, go to encyclopedia, find out anything you want. So why do I need all of these characters running around then? If they're making no impact, if they're not connecting myself, or they are not connected themselves either to the game world, right? So this is my biggest gripe with this game. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Oh yes, and clans, some clans, as you can see here now, they still dare to declare war on me. Yeah, the AI in this game is just beyond ludicrous. They declare war on me. Okay, what are you trying to gain from me? I'm just gonna go back now, actually, to my capital, one of my capitals. Actually, you cannot actually have a capital in this game either, because in Warband mods you could establish a court. In Warband itself you could. Here, I don't know where my court is. There is nothing there going on. They keep declaring wars on you. This mini tiny clans, I cannot even see them here. I don't know who everybody is. Like, diplomacy only features major factions, and most of the gameplay is reduced to this whack-a-mole kind of playstyle. That's all you do, essentially. Now it's been made a little bit better with all the patching and all the rest of it. It has been improved. The biggest problem, like I said, is with my lack of connections with the game world, okay? And the play styles are very limited. The only thing you could do, really, is to conquer the map, is to conquer the entire world, like I've just done. You conquer the world, that's all there is to it, unfortunately. The play style, especially mid-game to late game, is just, you know, conquering town after town, siege after siege. It's all fun and games, but at some point you want a little bit more, you want some personal interaction, personal stories. It's very, very limited, very, very bare bones, okay? And this is a final game, this is a released product, it's not early access anymore or anything like that. Hopefully the mods will bring some life into it, but so far, yeah, that's all there is to it. Now also the map, when you look at the map here, like, whose genius idea was to introduce this sea or a lake or whatever, I don't really know, because there's no sea travel, there's none. So you look at this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous islands, you think, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Look at this cypress here to establish a base there. No, can't do. Like in Warband, you at least have Calradia, which was about this much, right? You didn't have any obvious obstacles like this. It didn't cross your mind, or actually, can I just go across the sea? It didn't have to. Like if you introduce a body of water in the middle almost of your map, then maybe introduce sea travel? No? Otherwise, why tease the players with this? Right? It's so limited in this extent as well. So I'm a bit puzzled as to the map design.
We got no quarrel with you.
Now, on the positive side, and I'm sorry that it's sounded so salty so far, but on the positive side, the combat-wise, I have no problems with the game whatsoever. Like, it's so much better than the Warband. It's a massive improvement in terms of physics, in terms of the environment. Graphics goes without saying. So, it's a gorgeous game. Combat is, and this is, it seems to me, that this is where the game started as, like, you know, this is the game's origins. It's developed, it began as this kind of a combat simulator, and it's doing it. This part of a game is fantastic. I have no problems whatsoever with this. So it does its job well. It's just the campaign map is so undercooked in many aspects of it. Game, yeah, the combat, fine. If you're looking for combat only, right, you won't be disappointed. It's an excellent game. It's you know, fantastic things you could do here, and I have no problems with it whatsoever. Although, yeah, some aspects obviously could be improved. You know, this pole arm that you just, you know, swing around like it's nobody's business on a horseback. This is a little bit, yeah, questionable. But hey, apart from that, guys, the combat side of things, you know, I have no problems with whatsoever. It's great. It's much better, in fact, than the Warband. There still seems to be some bugs in the game as well. Like, I will show you now in a minute what's happening here with Sanala. Sanala is one of my settlements, and if you look at the dungeon situation here, it's like, I don't know, it seems that every prisoner that has ever been captured anywhere on the campaign map ends up in Sanala somehow. And you know, once you conquer the entire map, would be nice to have maybe some sort of a cutscene or something, just a victory screen or something like this. There's nothing of the sort either. So yeah, that's unfortunately the state of the game at the moment. But you know, it's not a biggie. So let me just conclude by saying this. If you're a veteran Total War player, you never played this game, the chances are you will like it. You will like it, go and check it out. I know some people don't. I've seen Darren from Republic of Play. He had a couple of videos on this. He's not a huge fan of this game. I do like it. And the fact that I'm so salty about this, again, apologies, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just because I do like the game. And it's just disappointing that it's been so undercooked. It's been 2 years now. It's exited the early beta state. It's still, vanilla game is so undercooked. It's so limited in terms of interactions with the world. In terms of connections with the world, with the game world. In terms of, you know, how everything is linked and whether you feel that part of this world or not. Whether the lords feel like they fit in. You know, they feel, the lords, they feel like they brainless bots running around, not doing what exactly, you know, what's best for them, really. And this is very unfortunate. You know, I never felt this way in Warband. Like, Warband interactions were limited, fair enough, with the game and with the world, but at least you could find out, hey, how goes your war with whatever, right? Hey, what's going on? Where can I find this fella or that fella? Yeah, none of the sort is possible here.
Peace and prosperity.
All right, look, so this is the enemy, okay? Let me show you what I can talk to him about. Nothing really. Surrender or die. I'd like to discuss something. Should make peace. Okay, and look at this. This guy wants me to give him, how much is it? Let's see. 100,000 he wants. 100, let's see. Let's see now. 10,000, not good enough. Okay, let's see, 20,000, 26,000 to making peace with this guy. He should be paying me tribute. No, he wants me to pay him 26,000 for making peace. And you know what? Let's have a look at this faction. So this is his clan. Tier 3, strength 0. That's their members. I don't know where they all are, probably all in captivity. And I have to pay him all this money. So this is just insults my intelligence. That's the situation. I'm going to capture him and I'm going to imprison him. Game style imposed on you is very, very linear, is very, very one-dimensional. There is nothing to the gorgeous cities. They have all custom maps, the castles, the villages, absolutely gorgeous. But you have absolutely zero reasons for even wandering around those settlements. There's nothing to do there, really. Everything can be accessed from the campaign map, which is okay. I'm not complaining about that. But there has to be some sort of things that, some sort of, interactions that you would want to go inside a castle or a city. You can stay on the campaign map the entire game. You won't miss a single thing if you never enter any of these gorgeous settlements, unfortunately. Yes, some things have also been improved. For example, you have some cutscenes and you have some babies being born, etc, etc. They coming of age. The problem is sometimes when the kid comes of age, it gives you this screen with the kid. Unfortunately, I don't have a situation coming up right now to show you. So once they reach certain age, obviously you give them certain traits, you give them all certain skills, but it's very, very unclear whose kid it is and what family he belongs to, who are the parents, is he my heir, is he second in line, who the heck is this? So you just give him random traits, random skills, and get on with it. So let's just conclude. Is it worth buying it? Well, if you don't have it already, if you're a Total War player, like I said, the chances are probably you will like the game. Some people don't, some people do. I personally love the game, and the fact that I'm just, have such a kind of disappointing feedback so far is because I want this, really want this game to do much better than it currently does. The potential is there, because there's so much you can potentially do with this game, but it seems barely scratching the surface right now in terms of what you can do there. Very, very limited interactions with the world, with the characters. There's no really not much else to do apart from fighting and coloring the map your color. But if you're a player that would really enjoy the kind of a combat, first person combat, then you would probably enjoy this game. It's great in that respect. If the combat is your focus, it's not necessarily strategic map conquering or character interaction with the world and trying to kind of create some sort of a role-playing game here out of it, then you will not be disappointed with this game. It's fantastic. The combat is fantastic, and the graphics are great. Everything else is just really good. If, however, you're looking for something a little bit more than combat, a little bit more than just conquering settlement after settlement after settlement, then unfortunately, once you reach mid or late game, it's just all kind of the same. It's all samey thing. Not much else to do, and very limited in, options in terms of what else you can do in this world. And this is disappointing, but overall, if you haven't tried this game yet, I would, go and buy it. It's a great game. You will not be disappointed in an early game.
Wish you peace and prosperity.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed at all. But once you reach middle game, you realize actually it's all the same. It all goes the same way, and there is not much else I can do here apart from things I've already done. And this is somewhat disappointing. Okay guys, so this is it from me. The game is great overall, don't get me wrong. If you haven't purchased it yet, I would recommend you purchase it. It's still a good game, and I hope the developers, they promise that they will continue working on this game, and I do hope that finally, eventually, it will become something that it has a potential to become, which is this multi-dimensional, not simply combat simulator, but actually something to do with the game world, with the campaign map, with interactions with the world, with the lords, and something that is more diverse and more sophisticated than just simply conquering town after town after town. Other than that, guys, if you have never played this, I highly recommend the game. Go and play, and hopefully looking forward to the development of this game. I hope they will introduce more content. I hope there will be more to do in terms of interactions, in terms of things you can do with the world, with your characters, things you can engage with. But anyway, let me know what you think, what your opinion is on this. Are you happy with the current state of the game? How are you finding it, in terms of the things that I've outlined here? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Things that, grind me the most, things that I'm unhappy with the most. What's your take on this? And I'm looking forward to hearing from the rest of the community. How are you finding things so far that the game has been released? So let me know in the comments, guys, and I shall see you all in the next one.